Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey, and let's read the FARSEER trilogy together. First of all, something to address. We have a new microphone, that's right, and I am loving it way more than I did the other microphone I had. So hopefully the sound is really good. I've tested it a couple times today and I am enjoying it. So here's hoping, because I'm recording this entire thing. You know what? Maybe I should listen back just to make sure. Okay, so it's working properly. Let me know what you think of the sound, because I'm not very good with like tech stuff, like physical tech. I work in tech, but I'm not good with physical tech. So let me know if you like this. I'm enjoying it so far. But let's get into the purpose of this video, which is to read the FARSEER trilogy together. All written by Robin Hobb, which include The Assassin's Apprentice, The Royal Assassin, and the final book in the trilogy, The Assassin's Quest. The FARSEER trilogy follows a young boy named Fitz, who is the bastard son of the prince-in-waiting named Chivalry. Upon hearing about Fitz, Chivalry abdicates the throne, and Fitz is forced to be raised in the stables by a man named Birch. In order to utilize his bastard role, he is put under the care of a man named Chade, who teaches him how to be the king's assassin. So like with the other episodes, I'm going to take you back to Kelsey 1 week ago when I started reading Assassin's Apprentice, and we're going to read through the entire series. I do have a couple of spoilers here and there, but I do try to make it as spoiler-free as I possibly can. So please watch with caution at your own risk. I don't know how sensitive you are to spoilers. In my opinion, there's no spoilers, but I've been known to be a spoilery bitch. So if you care, click away. And now, of course, I'll send you back to her and we'll meet again at the end of the video. I don't know if I've even made a clip for this vlog yet, but I'm 100 pages into The Assassin's Apprentice. I won't get too into details because I'm sure I gave a synopsis in the introduction, Kelsey, about what this series is about, but I am rereading this one, right? You guys know this. Hello, Kelsey. Thank you for reminding me, because I did not in the introduction remember to mention that I have read Assassin's Apprentice in the past. I read it a couple of years ago thinking that I was going to enjoy it and love it, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. So needless to say, it did put me off from reading the rest of the series for a really long time. Even though I gave it a good rating, I was so disappointed by the way that I felt. I decided to reread it in order to get a fresh start, a fresh perspective on it, to then continue with the rest of the series for this specific video. And now I will take you back. I am 100 pages in and I'm already enjoying it more than I did the first time. I remember reading it and thinking to myself, like, what's the point of these chapters? I don't understand. It's quite boring. This time though, I'm really enjoying the political aspects of the book. And I think it's interesting because I don't think Fitz really realizes his stakes and play in this political game. But as I'm reading this, I'm really enjoying the relationships that Fitz is having with his biological family, right? And I'm also enjoying Fitz as a character. Obviously, he's very naive. He comes to the castle at 6 years old, so he doesn't really know what's going on, and we're sort of getting little hints here and there about the overall like family dynamic in a way. Then we also learned about Fitz's power. I don't remember exactly what it was called or even if it's even mentioned, because I had also read it in the novella that Robin Hobb had written as well. I'll put a picture of it here. I love that novella, by the way. And so he has this affinity to speak to animals, and specifically like the dogs that he sleeps with. Beginning of the book, he has to sleep in the barn with Birch, the like animal handler, and he learns that he's able to really connect with animals, and Birch is telling him not to do so. Like, that affinity is not really liked by the society. It's not really a power that people want others to have, kind of thing. So he learns to keep that a secret, and then the king sort of takes a liking to him and wants him to be more useful than just like the bastard son running around. This man named Cade comes in to teach him how to be an assassin. Right now, obviously, he hasn't killed anyone. He's only like 7, but he is learning to be more sneaky. So he's starting to steal things around, and he's learning that as like little tests to see how far he can steal, what he can steal, that kind of thing. So that's really where the story is right now. It's definitely more of a character study on Fitz as a main character, and he's telling it from his point of view in the future, looking back. So I really like that POV style. And then I also really enjoy this character study of Fitz because I like getting into characters' heads and really knowing them, and I think I just didn't appreciate what Robin Hobb was really laying the foundations for. I'm interested to see if my reading does change drastically. It could be that it remains at the original 3.5 stars that I gave it probably 3 years ago, so it's not like I read it when I was younger and I might have a different take. I'm going to see exactly how I feel, but so far I'm feeling like I'm liking it more than I did I don't really remember reading it at all. So I feel like this is a good sign. It might increase a little bit, maybe a 4 stars. I feel like I'm always wearing the same outfit when I update, but this is like my home outfit. And that's what I like to wear. Anyways. Oh my goodness, we have stuff to say. So I am almost done with The Assassin's Apprentice. I'm at page 260 something. Yeah, 261, chapter 17. So I will be finishing this today. I decided that I'm not going to rush through the books and try to post a video this week because obviously it's taken me longer to get through this book, and not because I'm not enjoying it, because I'm actually enjoying it way more than I did the first time, but it's because we've been just so busy in the summer doing things. I never have time to read anymore. So also my son has been in, not to put him on blast, but he's been in the 8-month sleep regression, and it has been difficult. It takes me an hour and a half sometimes to put him to bed. So yeah, that's who I'm talking about. That's it. You're the one. But anyways, let's talk about where we are in Assassin's Apprentice. So at this point, basically in regards to the plot of the book, a lot has happened with the political dynamics between the two brothers, Regal and Verity. So Fitz doesn't really know a lot about what's happening, but he understands obviously that since his father abdicated the throne and also passed, one of the two brothers is obviously in line for succession. Fitz feels more camaraderie with Verity, and Verity seems to be the person that would be the most fit to take on his father's throne, right? But I do have a feeling that it's going to be Regal, just because Regal is the brother that we're not necessarily meant to right? Verity is the one that takes Fitz under his wing. We also have his other mentor-y type of figure named Chade, and Chade is the current king's assassin. Chade is training Fitz to be that way for whichever brother ends up taking the father's throne afterwards, and Chade is no longer needed. All of this is happening while Fitz is learning to control this power that he has. There's the wit and the skill. One is connecting with animals at a deeper level and understanding them and getting into their heads, and the other one is doing the same thing but with humans. The one with animals is not as respected because obviously they don't want people to become beasts. There's that, and now Fitz is being tasked with learning the skill by this man who is mean, Galen, who is trying to teach a bunch of new kids how to do so, and he has it out for Fitz because Fitz, I think, is probably likely one of the stronger ones with this skill, because as we've seen since his birth, he has been able to do this with animals, and potentially he has been doing it with humans. Everything that's happening in this book, I don't remember from the first time that I read it. So I'm just thinking I didn't really enjoy it last time, and I didn't absorb anything into my memory, and now I'm really liking it. So I'm really happy that I chose to reread this before going into the rest of the series for this vlog. I don't think I would have remembered anything going into the next book. I'm going to finish reading this right now, and I'll come back to you at the end with my final thoughts. The general gist right now is that I'm really enjoying this a lot more. So I will see you in a bit. Hello. So I wanted to update because I finished Assassin's Apprentice. I'm going to talk a bit low because my baby is asleep. I put him to bed before, and I wanted to give an update that I finished this before I started with the next book. I do want to start by saying I'm happy I made the decision not to rush through these books because I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I did the first time I read it. Originally, it was a 3.5 stars, but I'm bumping it up to a 4 stars, possibly even a 5 stars if I continue to think about it throughout the rest of the year. And while I can understand the feelings that I had at the time, and I don't want to negate that experience in any way, I do feel completely different now. Originally, I did enjoy it because I gave it a 3.5 stars, but I found it to be incredibly slow, and particularly the beginning, I didn't feel like it added any substance to the book. I feel the complete opposite now. I don't know why, but this time around, I feel like I resonated with Robin Hobb's writing style way more. I appreciated the flow of the story, the slow beginning, the amped up ending, and how we get to know Fitz throughout it. We feel like we know him, we can make decisions for him. I feel like I did not connect with it at all the first time I read it. So the plot this time around felt entirely new to me. I cannot tell you how little I remembered. It's almost like reading this for the first time. I was hesitant to, not that I was hesitant, I knew I was going to continue in this series anyways because I had heard nothing but good things about Robin Hobb, but now I can confidently say I'm much more excited to continue with this vlog and this series. So I'm sticking with a 4-star read for now, but I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this book. The first time I read it made me hesitant. I don't know, I was like, am I going to be one of those people that's the only one that doesn't like Robin Hobb? I was very nervous to continue this series, but now that I reread it, I'm so happy with that decision. So much happened in here, like I said, that I did not remember. His role as a bastard in the structure of the castle, of the royalty, his role as the assassin similarly within the castle, within the royalty, completely went over my head the first time I read it. The intricacies of his relationships with the like elders in the castle, the ones who work for King Shrewd, and then what will be his version of those different royalties and positions in society. So the next book is Royal Assassin. Clearly much thicker, so it's going to take me a bit more time to get through this one. So that's why I decided to just forego a video this week and just publish this next week. But I'm so excited to continue with this now, and knowing how much I resonated with Robin Hobb's writing in The Assassin's Apprentice. So really excited to continue. I'm going to probably start it tonight. Hello, so I just wanted to give a quick update because I did in fact, that's right, I got a tattoo yesterday. Did I bring you along? Absolutely not. Is it cool or what? Am I a cool mom or what? Please ignore the mess in the background. Oh my god. Being a cool mom comes with not cleaning the house. I did want to talk about how I have started on Royal Assassin, which is book 2. I'm just gonna move you because my son's going to kick you. I know it. And what's interesting is that it starts immediately after the events of Assassin's Apprentice. And like, I sort of knew that because I know that the entire sort of realm of the Elderling series is Fitz's whole life. So we're bound to follow it pretty detailed. Really what I've read so far, the first 100 pages, like is barely a dent, it feels like, because this is, I think 700, yeah, 650. So I'm not going to update you probably at every 100 page mark, especially because obviously as we get more and more into the series, there's going to be more and more spoilers that I want to avoid. I'm not very good at avoiding talking about spoilers. If you know my channel, you know that I'm very bad at this. I always spoil people by accident. I tend to want to avoid that, but I do have to talk about the plot in some sort of way. The first 100 pages have just been Fitz really recovering as to what happened at the end of Assassin's Apprentice and dealing with his relationships with his uncles at this current state and how he is right now. At the same time, healing and sort of making a name for himself in a way. So that's really it, because a lot of the 100 pages is Fitz healing and listening in on conversations, but not overexerting himself because they are worried that he could have died due to the poison that was given to him. That's where we are right now in the plot. I think I'm going to read until page 300 before I come talk to you again, so that way we're like at the 50% mark. I have a better idea about how I'm feeling about the book, but obviously so far I am enjoying it. I am worried that I'm feeling what I felt last time reading Assassin's Apprentice, this more slower feel of the book, but I'm trying to really embrace it because I loved Assassin's Apprentice in the end, right? I understand that it's slow for a reason, because where Fitz is in his life right now is a slow state. Recovering from almost dying is obviously going to take some time. And because we're following Fitz so closely in his life, we are going to have these more slower moments in his life. So I'm really trying to embrace that while I'm reading. Other than that, I am going to start cooking. So I probably won't be reading this for a little bit, at least tonight. I'm going to be making turkey meatballs with some broccoli and rice. I think I'm going to introduce turkey to my son tonight. He hasn't had poultry at all yet because I'm obviously terrified of chicken. It disgusts me and I can barely eat it on my own. So to give it to my child is like a little bit scary to me. So I'm going to give him like the turkey meatball, maybe mashed up in a potato or a broccoli, and we'll see how he handles it. Hello, so me and my son just came back, let me just fix you, from doing some errands. I had to buy a tray of Italian cookies for celebration we have tonight. Then I had to go to Dollarama. Then I took a gander at Archambault and I decided to bite the bullet of one of the books I've wanted to read probably for the longest since I've been interested in booktube and like rekindling reading for pleasure. This is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, and it is about this section of the government called the Memory Police, and they take things out of existence and therefore the vocabulary of humans. And then a young writer discovers that her editor is in danger. She concocts a plan to hide him beneath her floorboards words, and together they cling to her writing as the last way of preserving the past. So this is really interesting, very Orwellian, which I love. George Orwell is one of my favorite authors. Also really interesting to me because I live in a province that restricts a lot of different languages in order to save the French language in this province. Some of that can be argued is more of a political gain, because arguably when you keep a population speaking one language, they're receiving one amount of information, right? In addition to book burnings, book bannings, stuff like that, just banning of information, I think, is crucial for us to discuss in current day society. Very happy to have picked this one up. So that's it really for my update of today. Yesterday, I only got not that much further in The Royal Assassin from when I last updated you. So I'm going to continue listening to that. I probably won't update any more than that. I just wanted to mention that I got that book. I'll probably, very likely, see you tomorrow. Hello, so we have a couple of things to update. First of all, today I had hot yoga. Oops, maybe I should not be swinging this around. Today I had hot yoga. I love hot yoga. I haven't done it since before I gave birth, because when you're pregnant, you can't necessarily do hot yoga. It's been at least a year and a half that I haven't done even one single class of hot yoga. So today and last Friday, I did a hot yoga class. Really love it, really enjoying it. Obviously, I wasn't down when I wake up to do the class, but like once I'm done the class, I feel really good and I am so happy that I went. Next update, we got our August aardvark box in the mail. So let's open it together. You guys will get the first peek. How does it look? Ooh, she's gorge. Okay, so I am so excited to get this book because I heard about it at the beginning of the year and it just seems like so something that I would love. But that's What Hunger by Catherine Dank. First of all, what a cover. Oh my God, she's gorge. It's the summer before high school and Ronnie Nguyen finds herself too young for work, too old for cartoons. Her days are spent in a small backyard, dozing off to trashy magazines on a plastic lawn chair. In stark contrast stands her brother, Tommy, the pride and joy of their immigrant parents, a popular honor student destined to be the first in their family to attend college. The thought of Tommy leaving for school fills Ronnie with dread as she contemplates a quiet house where she'll be left alone with her parents. Her parents rarely speak of their past in Vietnam except through the lens of food. The family's meals are a tapestry of cultural memory. In the aftermath of the war, Meh and Ba taught Ronnie and Tommy that meat was a dangerous luxury, a symbol for survival that should never be taken for granted. But when tragedy strikes, Ronnie's world is upended and her sense of self and her understanding of her family are shattered. A few nights later, at Ronnie's first high school party, a boy crosses the line and she is overtaken by a force larger than herself. This newfound power comes with an insatiable hunger for raw meat, a craving that is both a saving grace and a potential destroyer. This sounds really, really good. Then we have, of course, all the books that were released this month. And my favorite thing in the box besides the book, the bookmark. I love them. I think they're so cute. So that's it for this box. And then I realized last time that I was like, oh, like I have no updates since my last check-in, but I never checked in about my initial thoughts. Now I'm about 1/3 of the way through the book at page 225 in chapter 12. I am enjoying this and I think I am feeling that like slowness of the beginning again, as I mentioned actually in the last clip, but I think that there's a lot being revealed in here that will be crucial for the third book. A lot of Fitz's involvement in using the wit to communicate with animals, his involvement more with the political dynamics of Buckkeep, so with the Queen, with Verity. His role as an assassin is sort of in the background at this current state. He's more exploring what's going on around the castle because the castle is being attacked by things called the Forged Ones. And from what I understand, they're sort of like zombies, I guess. They are humans that have been caught with this sickness. They want meat. They have like a hunger. They don't really consider each other humans. It's very interesting. And we learn in Assassin's Apprentice that Fitz, because of the skill, he can feel other humans around him. And when he's around forged individuals, he doesn't have that same feeling. So clearly they are either like dead or undead kind of vibe. So I really see them as zombies. And I think that that is a very interesting aspect of that. Obviously, I didn't go into these books expecting like zombie lore. So I think that that's really cool. And I think Fitz's relationships right now are what are being more heavily developed, or at least Fitz finding his role in the castle as more than just an assassin, let's say. Additionally, we have some inclinations that Prince Regal is still going against his brother, still trying to vow for the throne, but really only Fitz is brave enough to sort of commit this treason and like go against Prince Regal. So I have a feeling that that will be incredibly important as well. Additionally, this book is also including a lot of lore about the red ships and the forged one specifically. And I feel like this is going to be important when I move into the next series of Robin Hobb, which is the Live Ship Traders series. Obviously the live ship, the red ships are important and enemies within this book. I'm always keeping my ears peeled for when they reveal stuff about the ships, because obviously I want to take that lore into the next book. Still really enjoying Robin Hobb's writing. I'm definitely feeling the more slower paced aspect of the book, but I think because I know that every single page in Robin Hobb's books is crucial to the development of the story overall, I am really paying attention and really being along for the ride. So what we have next to do is put my son to sleep and then continue reading. I was going to do this update when he went to bed, but he has been something. But that is it for my official first update, and I'll probably come back maybe at the 450 page mark, so that way I have like about another third, and then we can really move into the last like 200 pages at the end. Hello, so we have quite a bit of updates to get to. First of which, as you saw, I went to Pilates today. I also bought the merch of the studio just because I love it. And I've been really enjoying Pilates, so I had to support. And also, like, when you make a financial purchase, it motivates me to go. You know what I mean? Secondly, speaking of financial purchases, I received quite a bit of books this past like week and a half. So the first book I got was a pre-order I made for Your Favorite Scary Movie. So it's written by Ashley Cullins, and this is the ultimate like story behind Scream. So it says the ultimate story of the Scream movie franchise, featuring interviews from more than 80 key players and an in-depth exploration of the creation and legacy of the films that revived a dying genre. So this is written by entertainment journalist Ashley Cullins as she examines the making and impact of the Scream films with behind-the-scenes insight from cast creators and crew, as well as just sharp analysis on how the movie's special blend of gruesome violence and humorous self-awareness rewrote the horror playbook. If you don't know, Scream is and forever will be my ultimate favorite horror movie franchise, specifically for those reasons, that it is both gruesome and humorous with self-awareness. So I love that. I'm very excited. As soon as I heard about this book, I knew I needed to have it. I pre-ordered it right away because I just think this is going to be amazing. Then I got two books that I've heard about recently that sound so interesting. So the first I got, Elder Race by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and I heard this from Christine over at the Roomies Digest. She was reading it in a vlog recently, and she was talking about how some of the book is written as like a fantasy novel and some of the book is written as like a sci-fi novel. And Adrian Tchaikovsky is really trying to show that basically the genre is the same and it just depends how it's written. I think that's mainly what it is. Liness is the lowly fourth daughter of the queen and always getting in the way, but a demon is terrorizing the land, and now she's an adult with responsibilities. Although she still gets in the way, she understands that the only way to save her people is to invoke the pact between her family and the elder sorcerer who has inhabited the local tower. But Elder Near isn't a sorcerer, he is forbidden to help, and his knowledge of science tells him the threat cannot possibly be a demon. This sounds really intriguing. I knew I had to pick it up as soon as I heard about it, and Adrian Tchaikovsky as an author interests me a lot. I think he's doing really fun and different things. So then finally I picked up We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. I've heard really good things about Emily Austen from Darian. They have been praising Emily Austen to the moon. So I want to get in on what it's about, and this book seemed the most interesting to me because it has a sibling dynamic in it. Sigrid hates working at the dollar store. Having always resisted the idea of growing up into the trappings of adulthood, she did not graduate high school, preferring to roam the streets of her small town with her best friend Greta, the only person in the world who ever understood her. Her older sister Margaret is baffled and frustrated by Sigrid's inability to conform to the expectations of polite society. So this seems really interesting. I love sibling dynamics, especially because I am an older sister of two younger sisters. So I think this could be really interesting for me. And because I've heard nothing but great things about Emily Austen, I do want to pick this up. And then lastly, my old place of work, Toys R Us, they're having like a sale de fermeture. a closing sale, a final sale, closing sale. Anyways, I was not planning on buying this book, but because it was on sale for a better deal than what it goes for retail wise, I got Seven Fates Choco with BTS, created by Hybe. I don't even know who the author is. Apparently it's BTS. So I just wanted to read the first volume just to see what it is. It is a manhwa. I want to see what it's about, and then maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. I just want to give it a try because of course I love BTS. And then lastly, 6 minutes in, let's finally talk about my thoughts on Royal Assassin. I did make it to page 450 and I am really enjoying it. The political discussions in this book are really, really engaging because there's a lot of subtleties in the relationships between characters that I'm enjoying. The magic system has also really, really developed in this one quite greatly, much more than in the first book. We got inklings of like what the wit is, what the skill is, what's going on, but in this one, it is more highly developed, and Fitz specifically is, I guess you can say, mastering it, but definitely getting a lot better at both controlling the wit and the skill. One of which he's obviously keeping a secret because he is able to communicate with a wolf pup that he's sort of raised. In addition to this, we have a lot of political dynamics that are amalgamating? Coming together right now. So the king is very weak. The oldest uncle of Fitz's that is alive is away dealing with the red ships, which makes me very intrigued for the next one. I keep saying this, but it's really making me intrigued for the next series. And then we have Fitz at Buckkeep dealing with Regal, which is the last brother, the third brother. He is obviously trying to vie for the throne because he has no real way of getting the throne unless his brother dies and his father dies, right? And so what we're seeing is that King Shrew is very obviously sick, but getting sicker not at the help of what's going on around him. And Fitz is obviously certain that it's Regal, and Regal is constantly getting involved. So without diving too much into spoilers, that's where we are. I know I spoiled a little bit, but that's where we are as of now. I definitely don't think it's a 5 stars because the first third of the novel did take me a bit more time to get into. Maybe upon a reread, knowing what's going to happen, I will enjoy it or appreciate it more rather. But for now, it's really looking like a 4 star, which is perfectly fine by me, of course. So I'm very interested to see how the last like fourth happens, and then we'll move into Assassin's Quest right after that. So my goal is maybe to finish this tonight. I know that's a lofty goal, especially with my son being a pesky little boy all the time, but that's the goal. Hello, so I'm coming to you late at night whispering because my son is sleeping. We spent the whole day today. It was really nice. I took some vlog footage. I don't know how much. Anyways, we went to the like Little Italy part of Montreal, which was really fun. I always love going to the Little Italy because it's just cute and there's a lot of cute cafes to go to. But more importantly, what you care about is that I finished Royal Assassin. The ending of this, the last like fourth of the novel, was exhilarating. At its core, this book, but also this series, is definitely more like character driven, but the plot in the second half, I felt personally like it was moving at breakneck speed. I was so captivated, so moved by what was occurring. I devoured it, especially due to the fact that the political games that our antagonist Regal was playing were revealed. More of the realm is also unraveled throughout this book, but specifically because Verity has to go search for the Elderlings. Now we know that this series is called The Realm of the Elderlings, so it's being touched upon. The red ship traders are also being mentioned, right? And that is another trilogy in this world. So I know that by finishing this, I'm one more step at unraveling the rest of the Robin Hobb universe. But back to the series' main strength, and this book specifically, the characters. I thought that the development of them was so well done in this one. I did not think that I could care more about them. Like, obviously I cared about them in Assassin's Apprentice, so I was expecting to care about them just as much as I did, but I found myself enjoying their personalities way more. Fitz, even King Shrewd, Burrich, Molly, they were all really, really, really developed characters. Granted, this is double the page length of Assassin's Apprentice, but I just don't think there was a character in this book that I did not enjoy. Even the characters that are meant to be bad, like the antagonists, I still like them. They were still really well developed. My one teensy small little complaint about this book, I mentioned it at the beginning when I was first reviewing this, is that I do find this book, and also with Assassin's Apprentice the first time I read it, to be a bit slow in the beginning, and it's always difficult, I think, to find my footing. So I'm really going to take that into consideration as I move into the third book, because once I do find my footing, I do, and I end up really, really liking the book. So I gave this 4 stars just because the beginning part was a bit slow, but I think upon reread of this series, I could possibly give give all of them 5 stars. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be moving into the final book of the series and therefore the final book for this vlog, which is Assassin's Quest. Last book ended on a cliffhanger, specifically with where Fitz is at in the world. I don't want to get too into spoilers because especially if you haven't read it or you want to reread it, but Fitz is at a sort of perilous position at the end of the last book, and he is saved by Birch specifically and a plan that Birch concocted, which I thought was really interesting because I really like Birch and I like that he's getting more of, I don't know, purpose in the books than just Fitz's like makeshift father role, right? He's more of a political game maker, I feel. So this is going to make for a very interesting relationship between the two of them in this book. So I'm very anticipating starting this. I'm going to start it right away because I'm devouring this series. Hello, I want to apologize because I'm going to leave the air exchanger on and my fan just because my baby's sleeping and I don't really want him to hear, so the more noises that are happening in the house, the less he's going to hear me, but hopefully you can hear me and that's all that matters. So I have quite a bit of updates. I'm very behind on this vlog and we'll talk about it when I get to my feelings on Assassin's Quest. But I did want to do just a quick little book haul because I got some books. So when I was in Quebec City, I got my pre-order for Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang's latest book. I'm very excited to read this book. The effort that's been put into the pre-orders is really cool, I have to say. Pages just feel like a textbook in a way, which I really like. This is one of my most anticipated reads for the year, so I definitely want to get to it soon because it follows 2 master's students or PhD students that need to get the recommendation from one of their professors in order to continue and venture into their studies, and they have to follow this teacher into hell, very akin to Dante's Inferno. As an English major myself, this is very intriguing to me, and I do see it being a book that I'm hopefully really going to love. I've given everything R.F. Kuang has written 4.5 to 5 stars. I won't be surprised if this is also a 5 stars. So very excited to get to this and I hopefully get to it soon. Then in the mail while I was in Quebec City also, I got Twin Tides by Hien Nguyen. Oh, I got it from Penguin Teen, by the way. This is a debut with bombshell revelations, murders, and dirty family secrets. Heiress and influencer Callista Ha lives a glamorous life in an LA high-rise, her perfectly curated social media hiding the cracks in her family. Across the country, Arya Nguyen is barely surviving as a freshman and academic scammer at Georgetown University. They have never met. This changes with one unexpected and grim phone call. Their long-missing mother has been found dead. Upon arrival in the sleepy town, Callista and Arya discover another shocker that they are identical twins. So this is like a thriller. Could be really interesting. Could be possibly reading it soon for a vlog I have an idea for in October. So this could be cool to get to. And yesterday I went to one of my favorite bookstores, which is St. Henry bookstore. This is their little code and this is where they are, Library St. Henry Books. And I got this book that I've heard really good things about. It's called Die My Love by Ariana Harwitz, and it won the it was longlisted, sorry, for the Man Booker Prize in 2018. And from what I understand, it is about a woman who is becoming a mother and like battling her demons, craving freedom while being trapped, yearning for family life but wanting to burn the whole house down, giving surprising leeway by her family despite her increasingly erratic behavior. She nevertheless feels more stifled and repressed. Motherhood, womanhood, and the banality of love. Die My Love confronts it all with raw intensity. So I think this could be really interesting, especially for me right now as I am postpartum. I like to dabble in like books critiquing or looking at motherhood in a more like analytical and critical lens. So I think this could be a really interesting book for me. And now I just want to quickly talk about my feelings on Assassin's Quest. I don't want to get too into it because this is the third and final book in this specific set of trilogies for the entire Robin Hobb universe, Realm of the Elderlings. I did get 300 pages in. It took me quite a bit of time to get there, not because I'm not enjoying it, and I think this is just my way with Robin Hobb book because it happened in Assassin's Apprentice, it happened in Royal Assassin, it's happening now. The beginning I find to be incredibly slow and difficult to get into. However, I will understand why we did what we did in the first third of the novel once I'm at the end. Fitz has come back to life and he is sort of on the run, sort of exploring, trying to find his way because obviously he's presumably dead. Through his anger has pushed away Birch and Chade. The Prince Regal has heard wind that Fitz might still be alive, so now Fitz is currently on the run, trying to escape Regal's army searching for him because obviously they want him to be dead because Fitz has it out for Regal, who is not only did he commit. So there's this very interesting dynamic that's going to happen to the two of them. One being the third, not illegitimate son of the king, because he still is the son of the king through a second marriage, but the obvious not meant to be king brother and the bastard son of the oldest brother. So this is a very interesting relationship that we're seeing here. So I'm going to continue reading it, keeping in mind right now that the first third has been really hard to get into, but I know that it will be worth it. Hello, so I got to the 600 page mark and I wanted to give an update. I obviously am enjoying this a bit more. It's still taking me quite a bit of time to finish this one. I don't think it's going to be my favorite of the bunch, even though I feel like Robin Hobb is really setting up the rest of the universe. So while this is a finale in a sense to this trilogy, it really is not reading like one. I do think obviously we're going to get a conclusion to Fitz's role in the world. We're going to get the finality probably of Verity Regal, that plotline. I could really see that closing out in this book. I still have 300 pages left, so quite a bit could happen in this last third, but you're definitely seeing the development of Robin Hobbs's universe. So there's a lot of discussion, visual imagery of the Elderlings, what the Elderlings are or what they were. In a sense, I'm not 100% sure as to what I read. It was definitely a dream Fitz was having, but it was describing a world where this elderling is walking amongst the people and the people are joyous or treating it as some sort of mythical celebrity that they need to worship in a sense. We have that aspect. We also have major developments, especially within the last 200 pages about the skill. We're learning about things that are skill rot. Fitz is definitely feeling the repercussions of that walking on a road that is deemed skill rot. And he's getting very easily distracted, very easily controlled by the skill, and also using the skill much more to his advantage because he is so developed on this road. And also there is more development on the fool's role, who the fool is as a mythical, I think, idea as well. The fool is talking a lot about their fate and how he has been destined to meet with Fitz, and how Fitz and the fool have a more fated, destined role. And that's been really interesting, especially because there's this character named Kettle, I believe, who has been following them along, and she mentions to Fitz the reason that she's so intrigued by them is because she is also destined, and they are all meant to meet and they have some sort of roles with one another. Obviously the Fitz and the fool have a much more cemented role, but I'm interested to see this Kettle figure and how that is being tackled within the last 300 pages. So definitely much more happened in the last 300 pages that makes me intrigued by how Robin Hobb is opening up the rest of the universe. And definitely I'm obviously interested to see how this ends, or at least what ties to Fitz and the Fool are ending within this book specifically. We do of course have 300 pages, but obviously in the grand scheme of things of this book, it seems so little left. So Fitz is obviously getting closer to Verity, so I can see this chapter of Fitz's life ending in this book. I will definitely be trying to finish this tonight, and I'll see you later. Hello, welcome back, and welcome to the end of the video where I come to you after finishing Assassin's Quest. And unfortunately, I found this to be the weakest book out of the trilogy. I think you can tell by just my demeanor in the last few updates of the video, but also this took me so long to finish. Yes, it is the longest one in the trilogy, but I think that there is major issues I find with the overall pacing and its place within the overarching series. So what I mean by that is that I think I've mentioned this, but it is closing out, obviously, the trilogy. So there are some things that we need to close here, but
it's still the beginning of the rest of the Robin Hobb universe and the rest of this journey, especially with Fitz. So there are some things that have been left opened, kind of. In regards to this book specifically, the first 300 pages or so were such a slog to get through. I found them to be extremely repetitive because Fitz is just being captured. He poisons them. He gets away. He gets captured again. He poisons them. He gets away. It happened at least 3 times. And I honestly think they could have been cut to serve for additional development or pages throughout the rest of the book, especially the ending, which I did, yes, find satisfying, but it definitely felt more rushed when we look at it in regards to the rest of the series. Although I do, of course, see how this is going to pay off with the entire realm of the Elderlings. So I'm trying to appreciate that with ending this book. However, saying that again, without all of this slow pacing and character development, I would not find myself caring for our characters, which I do. So that makes the ending for the characters specifically and their roles feel very bittersweet and satisfying, yes. Additionally to that, I really love how the Elderling world is developed in here and what is at stake for the future books in the universe. I'm excited to see what all of it means as I move forward. So I liked this book enough to want to move forward with the rest of Robin Hobb's universe. But I definitely have a lot more thoughts that are hard to explain without really diving into spoilers. Like, if you've read the books, we can talk about it in the comments. But specifically, I feel like it was a very Deus Ex Machina type of ending. And if you know what happens and you know what that means, please let me know your thoughts, because I felt like it was so rushed how it ended, how Fitz saved basically everyone. The relationships that occurred at the end, I do kind of like them. I'm going to say, I know it's a little controversial. Their female characters in this one, I was surprised because they're so well developed in the first 2 books. The female characters in this one felt a little lacking besides Kettle. I loved her. I don't know. Let me know what you think, because those little things at the end paired with the slog of the beginning of the book really made me not enjoy this one as much as I was really hoping for. But I did give this a 3.5 stars, which is still technically a great rating, but just in comparison to the other 2 books in the series, it fell a little flat. With saying that, let's go over my ratings for the books. Assassin's Apprentice, I was very surprised. I gave this 3.5 stars when I read it originally, so maybe that's what it is with Assassin's Quest, but I gave it 4 stars upon reread. Royal Assassin was also another 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one, but I usually am a second book girly, so it's no surprise that I like this one a lot as well. And then finally, Assassin's Quest, which I gave a 3.5 stars as stated, but it did not deter me from reading the rest of the Elderlings series. So that's it. That is the end of the video. Like I said, please let me know down below what you thought about these books. Did you like them? Did you hate them? What's in store for me coming up in the rest of the realm of the Elderlings? I would love to know. Please let me know. And if you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. Reluctantly, of course, as we are all victims of billionaires who want us all to be under an oligarch. So while we're all suffering, we should suffer together, and you can follow me if you wish. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!